Hello everybody out there. Today is a very special day in the homosexual world, and that is National Coming Out Day. So, if you are already out, or if you're coming out today, I want to say congratulations and welcome to our community, and that you will probably feel a lot better from now on out, being able to live as who you are. So I just wanted to kind of tell my story and how I came out. I have my whole life known that something was different about me, and that is in regards to female attractiveness. And I realized that I gravitated towards women a lot more in my life than I did men. And when my friends were busy being kind of boy crazy, I was obsessed with women, like Alyssa Milano, Christina Ricci, Hanson, which pretty much counts as women. And my friends, I had Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Andrew Keegan and whoever else on their walls, while I was obsessed with these women. And even as young, looking back, as 3 and 4 years old, I used to watch this show called Rescue Rangers, which was a cartoon in the 90s. And there was a girl mouse on there named Gadget, and I just had a huge crush on her. And I didn't realize what it was at the time, because a child doesn't really have sexual feelings, but it definitely was a lot like a crush. And so when I was a teenager, I started dating boys, and I always knew that something wasn't right. I had one long-term boyfriend for about 2 years, and I, needless to say, didn't ever want to do anything physical with him. And I just didn't feel right with him. I felt like he was my best friend. I didn't feel all the things that the girls around me were saying they felt when they were with their boyfriends, even though I had been with him for so long. And so I rented this movie called Cruel Intentions, and if you've seen it, then you probably already know what I'm talking about. But I invited my best friend over to see it with me. I had watched it lots of times and rented it lots of times, but I was inviting her over for the first time. And I told her days beforehand, there's one part in here that's so disgusting, you're going to be grossed out, and you just have to see it. I can't tell you what it is, it's just so disgusting and gross. And so we watched the movie, and even during it, I was like, that part's coming. That gross part is coming up. The part that's going to make you go, ew. And they kiss. And if you haven't seen the movie, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair do a practice kissing scene, and it's kind of graphic. And I was like, this is disgusting, Sarah. Isn't it the grossest thing you've ever seen? And I made a huge deal about it. And Sarah turned to me and she's like, Amanda, it's okay. And I said, what? And she goes, I know that you like that. And I said, no, I don't, because at the time I didn't even realize that I felt that way. And so that night we got to talking, and I eventually got to the point where I said I am 50-50 bisexual, 50% for men, 50% for women. And she said that she was 10% for women and 90% for men. And by the end of the night, she decided that or by the next morning, I guess it probably was, she was 50-50, so she was bisexual, and I was like, I'm probably 90-10, women 90, men 10, and then a couple of days after, I was like, you know what, I'm gay, and I'm proud of it. And so I was out to all of my friends and everybody at school, and I was in marching band, so a lot of people knew about it, and I wasn't out to my parents. I grew up with my grandparents, but for the 4 years of high school, I lived with my biological mother and my stepfather. And the way I came out to my mom was kind of an accident, because we were sitting in my room talking about something. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but I said something like, oh, she's hot, about some girl. And my mom went, what? Kind of paused for a minute, and I was like, oh, shit, I didn't mean to say that. And just kind of like nonchalantly, I was like, yeah, I'm gay, and I like girls. Like, she already knew, and it wasn't a big deal. Thankfully, she responded surprisingly well, almost scarringly well, because she then proceeded to tell me about a certain instance in a bathroom with another female that she had. Anyways, bottom line is that she's also kind of bisexual. And there was one point, I don't think that moment kind of made her realize it, but there was a couple of other points. One, I was dating the girl who lived across the street from us. She was my first girlfriend, and something happened with her, and I remember I was crying to my mom about it and venting to her, and I was so torn apart. And my mom was like, she's your girlfriend, isn't she? Because she could read my emotions, and she could tell that this just wasn't a friend thing. And so I said, yep, she is. And then a few years later, I kept trying to invite my girlfriend to family things, and my mom kept saying, no, you can't bring your friend with the family stuff. And so finally, I brought her to something, and from our body language, my mom realized that we were girlfriends. And so she was like, ding, you know, kind of at that point, I think, realized that I am a lesbian, and it's sticking. As for my grandparents, I said I lived with them for all of my life except for high school, and my grandma took it amazingly well. I can't exactly remember how I told her either. I think that it was kind of the same way, where I'm like, here I am, accept it. But she loved me no matter what, and she didn't understand it, but that didn't mean she didn't love me. And so that was really good. But my grandfather and my biological dad, however, do not feel the same way. And my grandpa at first was kind of, unfortunately, he's gone through kind of the stages of grief, and he's kind of denied it, become angry with it, and he's to the point now where he realizes that it's not changing, and it's just who I am, and it's not a phase, and I'm not confused, and he has kind of started to ostracize me, and I think that has part to do with the fact that he's getting older, and his mind is starting to slip, but also because he realizes that I am gay, and there's nothing he can do about it. And so that's unfortunate, but you know what? I would rather have this happen than have to live my whole life a lie, because it's extraordinarily difficult to hide who you are. And this is from a day-to-day basis, because every single person that you look at is going, unless you're the stereotypical butch lesbian or flaming gay man, they're going to look at you like you're straight. And it's hard to deal with that. A whole life of people assuming that you're something that you're not. And coming out is kind of a relief on that. And when I came out, I felt huge weight lifted off my shoulders, and I was happy, and I was able to be me and just live how I wanted to live. And if you're kind of questioning coming out, I did make a video about homophobia, and despite moral beliefs, obviously I disagree with it on a moral level, but speaking with reason and with logic, there are plenty of reasons that homosexuality or homophobia is ridiculous. And I made a whole video about it. You can check it out. It's on my page. It's called R.E. Telling My Dad I'm Gay Live. It's a response to that kid's video. But I point out a lot of the different reasons that are illogical. And despite my beliefs and my moral code, they're just illogical. They don't make sense to hate homosexuals. You will see that there's always been a pattern since the history of time that when people don't understand something, they attack it. And 5 or 10 years from now, because homosexuality will never be stopped, because it's at least some part of it is biological. And so in 5 or 10 years from now, we're going to look back on this just like we looked back at the slavery, and we're going to go, what the hell were we thinking? You know, so it's kind of a matter of, do you want to try to wait for that day, because we don't really know when it will be, but I can pretty much guarantee that it will happen, because homosexuality is not going anywhere. Or come out now and try to give your family time to deal with it and process it and provide them with some of the information that I provide in my video, statistics and facts and things that show that we're not different than normal people. We're not unnatural or disgusting. We're just people, just like them. And some of those facts and statistics might help them realize that you're still their son or daughter or sister or brother or anything, and that they love you no matter what. So if you're looking at coming out, I tell you that you will be relieved when you do it, and that regardless of how your parents or your loved ones react, there is a whole community out there of people that will support you and understand what you're going through, and we understand that you're a person and you deserve to be treated that way, and you deserve to be who you are. So I guess that about sums it up. I hope that you all have a great day. There's been a lot of true life gay specials on MTV that has made my girlfriend and I want to go out drinking at the gay clubs. So everybody else have a good night, and happy National Coming Out Day, you guys. Bye.